Alrighty mighty guys, we have some new Hulky Fibrex Crystron cards here. So if you're not aware, Crystron Hulky Fibrex, this old card that is banished in the TCG, banished in the OCG, banished in Master Duel. I have to admit that this was before my time, so I'm kind of feeling like a new Yu-Gi-Oh player, even though I'm a very old Yu-Gi-Oh player, as I've started in the early beginnings but then stopped playing. And it was a few months before I entered back the game in Master Duel where Crystron Hulky Fibrex got banned here, but we will get new Crystron cards in OCG's SUDA, which is the upcoming set Supreme Darkness. Obviously for us Master Duel players this is way off in the future, but I have not taken a look at these cards. We will do this together right here, read them and see whether they are as insane as Crystron Hulky Fibrex was himself. But if I remember this correctly, he wasn't insane because of the Crystron cards, but because he enabled a lot of crazy combos or a lot of crazy plays. You can let me know in the comments if you have played in this time Crystron Hulky Fibrex. Was this a problematic thing? I think this could go into something very impactful, like just one Crystron Hulky Fibrex going into one Appaloosa or something. Not Appaloosa herself, but you know what I'm getting at here. By the way guys, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help me out a lot. Thanks in advance. So Crystron Tristallos, level 2 water machine tuner effect. Because we see here when we read the old card, it is made with 2 monsters including a tuner, so a tuner is definitely a thing here. So you can only use the first and second effect of this card names each once per turn. Firstly, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can special summon one Crystron monster from your deck. Cool. Except Crystron Tristallos, which is not this one. And then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one machine monster using that monster you control. Okay, cool. So we can use this to synchro summon a machine monster, synchro machine, and we can also summon something from the deck. But we have to do this. This is a then effect we cannot choose to, but this is quite nice having this on the field and having this effect as a quick effect when the opponent activates a card or effect. And secondly, we can banish this card from our graveyard, destroy one synchro monster we control, and then special summon 2 Crystron monsters from the deck. Also, we cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except machine monsters. Not quite sure whether machine monsters are really the stuff that you want to go into. This is why I think Crystron Hulky Fibrex wasn't really good, because of Crystron, but not because of what he enabled with different other cards. By the way, this kind of looks like the guy, right? They look basically the same. So yeah, I'm not quite sure whether machine synchro monsters is something that we really will do something very effective with. But the card in general seems quite nice. The first effect is quite good, and then the second effect also. I mean, if this is a resource in the graveyard, then we have another effect that we can use this for, and we can also use each of these effects once. So it's not like with some cards that you can only use one effect. We can use both. We have Crystron Sulfudhole. We have level 5 water machine effect monsters. Everything is machine here. 192250. Very strange set line here. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once each per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one Crystron card you control for cost, indicated by the semicolon here, destroy it, and then special summon this card. Also, you can special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Okay, so what is very notable here, that Crystron cards like to destroy stuff. That's what I'm getting at here. And then secondly, so we can special summon this from hand or graveyard as an extender. Secondly, if this card is normal or special summon, we can send up to 2 Crystron cards with different names from our deck to the graveyard. Okay, so there is probably something that we can do with that. Then, for example, we could send the Crystron Tristallos and then use the second effect of this card if we wanted to. We also have Crystron Eleskeletus. So one of the synchro monsters here. Let's see how good this is. We need one tuner, one non-tuner, 2, 6, 2, 1. We can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn, meaning the second effect, okay, is the lingering effect. Monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack defense. Nothing too fancy here, but can also be nice, honestly, when pushing for something. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add one Crystron card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. Very nice. It seems to revolve around the graveyard quite a lot. We also have this effect. We can banish this card, so we can get something back here, which is kind of like getting something from the deck to the hand, especially if the deck works around around or with the graveyard very heavily. So this is like a very normal, like I summon this card, I get an advantage +1 card, and then a third if this Synchro Summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, which obviously we can also do with, for example, the effect of the Tristallos here, then we can special summon one Crystron monster from our graveyard or banishment. Very nice card here. We can make it with 2 and then get an additional +1 here, and then we can also destroy it for a card effect that gives us another advantage. So for example, the Tristallos effect, and then we can also special summon a Crystron monster from graveyard or a banishment. Very nice. We have Crystron Inclusion, continuous spell card. Very nice. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add one Crystron card from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is not like each main phase you can add one card to your hand, but only when this resolves. Then the first time each of your Crystal monsters would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. Okay, doesn't seem to be that insane here, honestly. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Once again, this graveyard shenanigans, then target one Crystal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Okay. I don't know if I really like this. Can we destroy? Then immediately this card from here, then destroy on Synchro monster you control. Okay, so we would have to destroy this one. Would have been cool if we could also destroy this spell card here, but the spell card not really that great in my opinion. Maybe I'm missing something here with all the Crystron cards going together. Actually, this I have to check because I'm not quite sure how many Crystron cards there are in the game. Oh wow, there are a lot of Crystron cards. Interesting. All of them are water and all of them are machine, even though they look kind of different. Not quite sure what this archetype is all about, but I have never seen this being played. So this one I know, Crystron Cuario Gundrax. So I'm not quite sure if the new support is able to push this to the forefront, especially with the Hulky Firebricks missing. Crystron Inclusion. And then we have Crystron Cluster, continuous trap card. So continuous can always be nice because then you have the ability, if it is on the card, to continuously gain some advantage or some benefit. Unfortunately, not really possible by Crystron Inclusion here. But for example, cards like Telemans Saliek, for example, being able to negate a monster effect every turn and send a Telement monster from a field every turn, which is obviously quite nice. So there can be really insane continuous spells and traps, but sometimes, like in this case, in my opinion, it's not that great. Crystron Cluster, continuous trap card. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Firstly, Crystron cards you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card's effect. Okay, so as they are all water, all of them are actually water, it does not really matter because this would be a good protection against Bestials, I guess. And then secondly, you can target one face-up card on the field or up to 2 if you control a Crystron Synchro monster. Shuffle once Crystron card from your graveyard or banishment into the deck except Crystron Cluster, and if you do, destroy the targeted cards. Okay, you can target one face-up card on the field. Okay, this one I actually like because this is good because we will probably control a Crystron Synchro monster because we will end on one, I guess. You will probably end on, I don't know, maybe the Eleskeletus or any of the other Synchro monsters that we can see right here. And then we can shuffle something back from our graveyard, or the banishment, by the way, which we have seen. We are putting stuff to the graveyard and banishment a lot here, and which means we will get back resources that we have used before. This is always nice, getting back resources for a potential grind game, if that would be the case. And then we can also basically destroy 2 targeted cards, and doesn't even have to be only monsters, cards in general. So I definitely like this trap card here. Not the biggest fan of the spell card, and the other ones also seem to be quite nice. Not quite sure what these other monsters, whether there is a boss monster that you want to end up on. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can banish all spells and traps your opponent controls, add in the graveyard. Okay, this Synchro Summon is destroyed by card you can target. Okay, so all of them seem to have this destroyed clause here with different advantages that you get if they get destroyed. Interesting. And all of them have this, if this card is Synchro Summon thing here, right? If this card is Synchro Summon, you can target monsters you control, your opponent controls, and or in the graveyard up to the number of Synchro materials used for the Synchro Summon of this, banish them. Okay, interesting. Okay, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can add monsters your opponent control, lose If this is synchro summoned, you can change or face up special summon monsters. So I guess the thing is, let me read this again. Okay, here's the thing. Now after reading all of them, basically, okay, once per chain during your opponent's main or battle phase, you can quick effect immediately after this synchro summon. So the idea is, I mean, these effects are actually quite nice, but obviously you don't want to have them on your end board because then they have already triggered and they do nothing in your opponent's turn. But with cards like this, the Quandux, or cards like the Crystron Tristallos, you are then able to synchro summon on your opponent's turn, which then you can activate the effects like you banish all spells and traps, or which this could obviously also be used on your turn if you went second. But for example, this banishment effect is really nice on your opponent's turn if he starts playing into your board. So yeah, the Crystron Tristallos actually seems quite nice, giving you the ability to make this to summon a tuner basically, or to summon a Crystron card and then also a synchro summon with it. And this is a tuner. This is actually quite nice, right? You will definitely play this at 3, I guess. A really good card that you can have on your end board. Also has 2000 defense, which means cannot be killed that easily. Yeah, seems to be quite nice, very interesting. Then again, I'm not quite sure whether this is like pushing this archetype that has not been played with so many support cards here over the edge. So we will see it. But let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe you are also a bit more accustomed with the Crystron archetype. Is this big for the archetype? I would say yes, especially this one here I like, and the trap's also very nice. But I guess this kind of looks like, I don't know, maybe a tier 2 rogue kind of deck. But let me know in the comments what you think of this, and we will see each other in the next one.